Hello and welcome everybody to all the Rage Sports. As per usual, I have my lovely analysts with me, Jace Junk and Andy Stewart. How are we doing today, boys?
Fuck you both.
I was sick today, and I still feel like shit.
Awesome.
Get her on her
Sounds good.
Coronavirus thrown up. Good stuff.
I was pretty friggin' sick today, but that was because Taco Bell gave me like week-old food, I think. So
It's good stuff.
yeah, it was delicious. Awesome.
Right.
So it's like taxes. You know it's coming, but you just gotta accept it.
When?
So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the training camps going on right now. We have about 2 weeks till the season starts. So we have a lot to get through, and then excitement. Finally, we're gonna finally have some fucking football. So excited!
We're gonna have golf majors. We're going to have NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, the NBA
Football.
starting up.
It's gonna be
Did you
amazing.
really have to say football? Like that was already fucking implied. Thank you
I
for
did.
literally ruining the run I was on there. God damn you.
Got in your head
Yes,
space.
we are obviously going to have football on, even though I obviously said that. Yeah, we're going to have a whole bunch of good shit going on all at once, and I am so fucking ready to lose so much money to FanDuel and Draft.
My body is ready.
Like, the CEO of both of those companies know I'm coming, and they've probably already ordered like another 3 houses.
It's like the iceberg.
They're on their yacht, and they're like, "What? We can order another yacht for our yacht."
A bigger yacht to store that yacht.
They're gonna have a
inside of
pool on the yacht with the yacht in the yacht.
So that way you have
Yachtception.
like, if, you know, when you inevitably get into like the cocaine trade or something like that, you need a getaway yacht. You just drop one
That's
out
it.
the back and then disappear.
Light the other yacht on fire.
Like 5 knots, and then the DEA agents just get up alongside the boat again. They're like, really?
Really, dude. We saw
need a
that.
And then
small
it's like
submarine.
nesting dolls. Just
That's it.
another
They need the
one,
submarine
another
from
one,
like
another one.
Titanic that went down, the little one-manned one where you're just, yeah.
Everybody else
You
can
seen
die.
that
Light
fucking
on
video?
fire.
Of the I know this is off topic. Have you seen the Coast Guard where they found guys where they were trying to smuggle cocaine, and they literally had like a little submarine that they had found, but it had mechanical issues and they couldn't take it down below. So it's just like running across the top of the water, and they jump on top of this thing, beat the shit out of it, and like pull these guys out of it. Yeah, it's like going through the water, and they pull up alongside it, jump on it, and they're just like on the hatch.
Like, hey, we know what the fuck you're doing, man.
Interesting. All right.
I want to watch
Well,
that. I'm gonna
on
watch
the actual topic of NFL, we're going to talk a little bit today about some of the late acquisitions that are going on, or the people, visiting teams. One big one, obviously, was Earl Thomas, who was released by the Ravens for various reasons. And where we think he's going to go, is he still, going to be able to perform at a, top 5, top 10 safety in the league, and what kind of teams want him, and where should he go? We're going to talk a little bit about him and maybe some of the other acquisitions that have happened. Obviously, we'll talk about camp injuries, certain injuries that have happened during this preseasonless season. Then we're going to obviously talk about the different people on like the training camp bubbles, who's we've seen and heard had good training camps. Some sneaky picks maybe that might get a lot of playtime this year. So those will be some good topics we'll talk about there. And then obviously we'll talk a little bit about just what this season's going to hold with not having a preseason, contact drills being down, and like all these precautions with COVID. What is that going to mean for the season, if the season is going to happen? Like, are we going to run into a situation where we get 2 weeks in and then have to shut shit down? So don't say it.
Don't even say it.
Don't say it.
You don't need it.
Don't put that evil in the air.
So yeah, there's a bunch going on that. We'll also we'll talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs. The NBA went on like a little boycott there because of Jacob Blake. Yeah, so Jacob Blake was shot, 7 times, paralyzed.
We're not laughing about that. We're just
Yeah,
laughing
we're not laughing at him.
Yeah, just because you had to act
I
like
messed
you
up the
didn't
name
remember.
almost. I was really close.
We restarted for you to make sure you got his name right, and then
I nearly messed up. So yeah.
Damn it, Jesse.
Well, yeah, so they boycotted that, but I guess the players have decided to return back to the playoffs and continue that going. So we'll do a little talk about that. Obviously, the NHL playoffs are in full swing as well. And then obviously we'll talk a little bit about your PGA Tour and let you guys do your golf corner. So we're going to have all that and more coming for you on All the Rage Sports. All right, so let's start off talking about some of the free agent acquisitions that are happening pretty late in the season here. Obviously, we're going to talk about Earl Thomas, but let's just take a look at some of the other things that have been going on. You were talking about the the Buffalo kicker, correct? What was going on with them?
Hauschka.
Yes.
They drafted. I was going to wait until later for this, but they drafted a kicker in like the 6th or 7th round, Tyler Bass. He's out of Georgia Southern, I believe. And they decided to go with him, and they cut Hausch money, which I'm pretty upset about.
Money.
Hausch money.
Yeah, who was really doing well for them last year, if I'm not mistaken.
On the Hausch.
That's right.
Yeah, he did do well last year.
Yeah, so that is actually, and he's a big veteran. I wouldn't, it'd be fucking hilarious if he went to Chicago.
Yeah.
And then had to compete there to hit the polls.
He, what else was I going to say? They got rid of their punter too, Lackland Edwards or whatever. He was a kind of a mainstay in there for a while. I think that's his name. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Come on, resident Buffalo Bills expert.
That's right.
Lackland Edwards.
That's why we have you here.
That's
yeah, so there was that kind of acquisition. Like Mark Barron right now is heading to Denver to try out, I believe, do a meeting with them. So nobody's sure if he's going to sign or not. But Mark Barron has bounced around the league a bunch of times from a first-round pick as a safety. Now he became like a middle linebacker, kind of a will back in a sense. And then he's not been a very good run stuffer. He's been better in pass coverage, but then in recent years, he's kind of lacked in pass coverage. So where is he going to fit? Like, I liked him on the Steelers. I really did.
He has made himself a window about... Don't say that. He was not very good as a Steeler. But he has made his window for the kind of defense he fits about this fucking big.
Yeah.
So somebody needs to find somewhere that they can plug and play him for his exact skill set.
He's very niche.
Yeah.
He reminds me of he's like a poor man's Taylor Mays at this point. And
yeah, no, that's actually a very good comparison because that's how Taylor Mays was for so long.
Like, Taylor Mays had a little bit of a career resurgence with the Raiders. Like, I don't know where he went after us, but, like, he had a couple good plays there for a second, and then he was out. But, yeah, he at least had a little bit of speed. He just, like, Mark Barron, unfortunately, is just Father Time has caught him.
Yeah.
He's not that great at pass coverage anymore, and he's not, like, put him at middle linebacker. You're just going to run through him every single time.
Yeah.
The only reason he kept getting signed at teams was for his pass coverage. He never was a run stuffer. Now that he's lost that, he doesn't have anything to fall back on. He's just a mediocre player. And he's not going to play special teams as being a veteran like that. So at this point, unless he goes to a very, like you said, a very specific defense to fit his playing style, he's not going to get on a team.
No.
I liked the sign with the Steelers, and I thought he did okay. I didn't think he was fantastic. I thought he did okay last year.
I thought he was definitely underwhelmed. He was very underwhelming.
Oh yeah,
he was hyped up to be. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely,
What they
and
signed him.
that's obviously why they got rid of him and decided they would go back to Vince Williams again. Who I kind of feel bad for Vince Williams at times because they keep bringing people in to take his job, and then those people pan out and they're like, "Just kidding, we'll get it right back to you, okay?"
Jason's gonna shoot you if you keep talking about the Steelers.
I know. We'll get into that later. But let's just move on to Earl Thomas.
We'll
So
talk about the Steelers later.
Let's just talk about Earl Thomas right now. So he performed immensely well. I think he was probably ranked in I believe he was ranked in the top 10 of the safeties last year. That defense was stellar, and they went 14-2. So obviously, he can still play.
Statistically, last year, not to interrupt, statistically last year, he did not have a good year. That defense covered him up quite a bit.
Okay, there you go. So, then that's my question. Can he still play? Can he still perform at a top 15 kind of level on a team?
The talent's there. Lord. I mean, it's just a matter of, we all kind of were like, okay, when he flipped the bird to Pete Carroll and all of them.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, yeah, we're with him. And now it's kind of the point where, his little brotherly love incident in the offseason, whatever that was.
Damn it.
What, did I beat you to that line?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's go over the two things we know
Once again, to clarify, folks, for those of you on the audio podcast, we're not saying he's fucking his brother. Him and his brother were fucking either, I can't remember, one or two women together?
They were either tag teaming some hoe.
You can't say hoes, Jesse.
Hoes, that's not bad.
It's with a Z.
Hoes,
with
the hoe
Z.
train.
Oh,
like what was that? What was that dude in wrestling?
Okay.
Never mind that.
The way I read it,
he was story short, he got walked in on by his old lady or girlfriend, whoever, and it was a big deal. He's apparently had a couple fights with teammates, stuff like that. So
it's showing up point where team meetings and
shit. Well, he said, what was the reason he missed the team meeting? He was getting his car washed or something like that.
Yeah, something stupid.
Yeah, something fucking dumb. He was basically he basically was done with it. He didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but you see it more in this age of social media. You saw it with Kaepernick, unfortunately. He really didn't do anything wrong. But the more... What?
Not you. Andy, move your mic closer to your face. I can barely hear you.
But the more you see guys, whether or not they just... It's good or bad, they create a stink in this era of social media. It's more or less whether teams want to deal with it or not. And Earl Thomas has gotten to the point where he is, I think, enough of a locker room issue and possibly an issue elsewhere, comments to the media and things like that. Do they really want to deal with him? And talent versus, the possible...
That's what I was going to say. The talent level used to be there to where it outweighed that.
I couldn't get the words out, but basically see Raiders trade Steelers for Antonio Brown. See, that's how it turns out badly. Yeah. And that's how I feel like it could turn out. I don't think Earl Thomas will go off the deep end like that. But
no.
I don't see him starting a rap career. But well, I mean, if he does, he's got to be better than AB. Jesus Christ, anybody
could be better than AB.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't think any of us would be better than AB. But there's got to be some NFL players better than AB. But anyhow, not to go on at length, but it really comes down to, is he a fit in your system, and are you going to take the risk and hope that he's good with the coaching staff and his fellow players and there's no clashes, or is he going to continue to be a problem?
So obviously in the offseason before he signed with the Ravens, there was just talk after talk of him going to Dallas. Now Dallas is saying they are not going to pursue him. I mean, Dallas would be a pretty good fit with how many secondary players they lost in the offseason.
Here's how that talk went. Jerry Jones, let's sign Earl Thomas. Literally everybody else in the room.
No, Jerry.
But, and they went, no. And then Somebody walked over with a needle full of sedative and stuck it in him, and they were like, "Shh, go to sleep, go to sleep." Okay, now that he's asleep, let's try to put a franchise together.
I did see a report that said that whenever the that came out that the Cowboys weren't interested in him, Jerry Jones said that Ian Rappaport didn't know what the fuck he was talking about.
Yeah.
So.
How about them Cowboys?
That's strange.
That was I had that on the little screen. That was the creepiest thing I've ever seen. It literally looked like the girl from The Ring popped up behind you.
That's pretty much what it was.
That's fair. Yeah.
Except
So,
for Maddie, that's super mean.
do you see a team?
It was my brother-in-law, Chance.
Yeah.
I couldn't see who it was. Like I said, it was very small.
Very tiny. Do you see a team that Earl Thomas would fit on? Like, can you think of any team right now that would be a good fit?
Somewhere with warm weather.
I'm struggling to figure out where. I mean, obviously there's, like I said, there's places that have the need, but do they want to really? It comes down to, do you want to roll the dice on the drama and the personality?
Especially this far into camp right now, where you got about 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 before you start the season. Do you think you can get somebody up to speed that quickly?
And I forget when did he end up with the Ravens last year? Like, did he have a full training camp last year?
I feel like he did. I feel like it was pretty early in the offseason that he signed.
I think you're right, but depending on, okay, so maybe he signed, say it was, I don't have it in front of me, like halfway through OTAs or whatever, like mid-spring, something like that. He didn't have that great, like I said, statistically, of a season last year. He played on a very good defense, so even that was a little bit inflated. It comes down to literally, like, he didn't have that great of a year. How much money do you want to give the guy? How much of a risk do you want to take? You know what I mean?
This is what I think should happen. I think either like a team like the Miami Dolphins, like a bottom tier team that know they're going to be a bottom tier team, ought to take them on a flyer. Hopefully in like the first 5 weeks, the guy fucking blows up, gets like 7 picks, and use him as trade bait. But I wouldn't be signing him to a huge. I wouldn't be giving him.
No, he's going to be getting a 1, maybe 2 year like veteran discount type of contract.
I don't know if it'll be that low, but
no, it won't be that low. But I mean, like, we're talking maybe.
Is he going to take that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is like, could this mean the end? Because I could see him getting like a 2-deal, $8 million with $5 million guaranteed. Yeah.
2-deal.
No, 2 year.
2-year
deal.
Yeah.
So like $8 million with like 4.5 guaranteed or something like that. Something small and manageable.
I can
something they can get out of in year 2 if they want to.
Something that if they had to cut him for some reason,
it wouldn't be crazy.
Cap hit, and they could just be like,
cut ties. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking the Jets just getting rid of Jamal Adams. Yeah, maybe they feel like they got somebody behind him, but bringing a veteran in there that kind of played similar. Earl Thomas was more cover than Jamal Adams really was, in my opinion. So maybe it's kind of a different feel, but
Earl Thomas just saw how his, Jamal Adams' relationship was with Gase, and how Gase treats his players. Why?
Gase doesn't give a shit about anybody.
If he's
rich,
just as big. I don't want to say prima donna, but if he's just that concerned about his image and this and that, why would he want to go fill that role? He's just gonna. It's like literally taking somebody's job, being like, "Oh, your job sucks. I'll do that," and then being like, well,
yeah. No, that's true. It's true. It's hard to find a fit for him, really, and I just don't. I'm starting to think he's going to be one of those signed when injuries happen type of deal by week 3 or 4 or something like that.
Almost 32.
Either that or Andy's got a good point. He may even, sit around and cherry pick a team that, has an injury, say, you get a division leader that's out in front
Vikings
a couple
or
of
something.
games. Yeah, the Vikings or whoever you think's going to be out in front, have one of their starting safeties go down and be like, oh, we need somebody. Then all of a sudden, I don't know if who Earl Thomas'
Holy
agent
Grail!
is, but then. Yeah, literally the guy's getting carted off the field, and your GM sitting up there in the booth like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? And his phone's already vibrating. Like, oh, hey, Earl's working out right now. He's ready to go. I think he's going to do what pretty much everybody does now. If he can't get the money, he's going to go hunt a ring, look good, and then go get his money in the offseason.
Yep. I could see it.
Wait.
Yeah, if you want my bold prediction, I don't see him signing before the start of the year. I don't see him. You can give me. I'll set the over under right now, and you guys can go either way. I don't see Earl Thomas being signed to an NFL team before week 7.
I was going to say you're going to say 7. I'm going to go under.
I was going to go under, too. I'm going to say 5.
Okay, both go under because you're both wrong.
Week 5 or 6.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's around. I'm gonna say it's going to be after week 4, but it'll be early.
It'll be between week 4 and 8.
You get into like the bye weeks and stuff like that. You'll have guys like we were saying, and honestly, it could even with no training camp, with no really reps or anything like that. There could be a lot of big names go down in week 1, and it could be like bringing in the fucking, when the MLB went on strike and they brought out the replacement players or whatever. With not a lot of conditioning, it could be like that. So we'll see what happens.
That's fun to watch, though. That's fun TV there.
That's some interesting shit, yeah, when that happens.
You don't want to see anybody get hurt, but it's always
no.
I mean, it's just to the point. It's almost like a NASCAR wreck at this point. It's just like, what the fuck's going to happen here?
Well, let's move on to some.
One more thing. On the topic of Adam Gase, we need to talk about how many fucking running backs that he just signed under Le'Veon Bell. Like, he fucking Kenny Balaj and I forget who always signed, but it was fucking crazy. Like, they're not even giving this guy a chance. They gave him all this money, and we're just going to have 4 other running backs in here.
The other day, he was held out of practice for soreness in his hamstring. Then he's tweeting, I don't know what they're talking about. My hamstring's fine. I don't understand why I'm not on the field. Like, why? I laugh a lot because in the Le'Veon Bell situation, I felt like the Steelers avoided what happened with Antonio Brown, essentially, with him. Because I feel like he was just on that cusp of going nuts like that. And he thought he was the best fucking running back ever, and he goes there and he has a mediocre at best type of season. And Gase hates him, and
Gase fucking hates him. I love it.
And
Gase doesn't give a fuck. Like, he'll just be like, "Oh, fuck him. Like, I'm rich. Fuck fan base. I'm fucking still rich."
It's crazy. The Jets signed Chris Hogan. I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
Yep.
Did he even play anywhere last year? I feel like he sat last year out.
I thought he was.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's interesting how he wants to make it like a running back by committee type of thing, or just bring in any old buddy to compete with him.
Frank Gore's a new.
Right? Why the fuck not? I thought Frank Gore would come in between like week 6 and week 12 would outrush him, and then like go back into hibernation.
Cut Le'Veon Bell. Fucking. Damn.
I would find it hilarious. Yeah.
Chris was on the Panthers last year.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
That's right. Didn't do anything.
No. He was there.
So yeah, some of the
Frank Gore is my number 1 fantasy pick this year.
There you go. I like it. Next week we are going to talk a lot of fantasy stuff, and following is probably going to be our a lot of fantasy and a lot of previewing football next week.
I get that warm, fuzzy feeling when I start thinking about fantasy football.
Because I'm so good at it. You guys blow. Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
So nice.
Everyone in this podcast right now has won it at least once.
I got it 2 back-to-back, though. So, and it was the only 2 years I've been in it. So,
Like Rome, every
Well,
dynasty must fall, and I will rip you limb from limb.
I will also just accidentally delete your team.
All right.
Being league commissioner, you know. Oops.
You ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
That's
No,
right.
don't delete him. He's so cocky on his back-to-back years. You can mark my words. Once again, you're gonna have a shit year. You're gonna.
I have one coming. I do agree. But
You do. Yeah, I honestly,
if
the
I
first year you won,
nuts in both
You've
your
seen
faces.
this before.
the
Jesse.
first
I'm
year you
putting the
won was
Brian
my
Baden
fault
on
because
him.
I made a very dumb bad trade for Le'Veon. It was all my fault. The second year,
I played the fucking waiver wire like a
you
motherfucker.
fucking worked your ass off for that one. So
Yeah.
I'll give you that. This year, not gonna happen.
Okay.
So moving on.
Oh,
Let's look at some of the injuries that are going around training camp. Both serious and both minor. You simmer down now. Fantasy week is next week.
Staring up at me. I'm on top of the mountain. You can say whatever the fuck you want, peasants.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been to the mountaintop.
I've been to the mountaintop. Oh, yeah.
All three of us have. So.
It's true. So let's look at some of the bigger injuries. David Montgomery went down in practice with a groin injury, expected 2 to 4 weeks. Rookie safety for the Browns, LSU. Thank you. Is expected to have surgery. They think he ruptured his Achilles, I believe. So that one's probably done for the year, which really sucks because he had a lot of good potential and was probably going to be a week 1 starter.
Oh yeah, he was projected to be the starter.
Oh,
yeah.
Look good.
Some of the other guys. Campbell, yep.
Car wreck.
Yeah, he was in the car accident.
And concussion protocol.
Stephon Diggs is dealing with some lower back soreness. The team monitoring him. I think it's relatively minor.
He was practicing today.
Yeah. They think it was pretty minor, and he was practicing today. Let me see what else is some of the big namers. Oh, I think that's
How about all the ones from the 49ers?
Oh, yeah, the 49ers have like half the team is sitting out right now. They were going to do pad on 11 drills, and then they just decided there wasn't enough people, so they just didn't do it. So, like, they got a lot of, like, and it's not huge shit, but it's enough of these minor injuries that they pretty much shut down a training camp day because of it. So, yeah, there's a lot of those injuries going around. Now, I guess that leads me into my next question. How is this training camp being the way it is going to affect the injuries come the season? We saw in the past where we all blamed it on less contact in training camp and not getting people up to par, not getting people up to condition. So that when they come and play those games at game speed, they're getting injured. So is this something where now that we have more time in training camp and less time getting up to game speed, more time conditioning and everything, is this meaning we're going to see less injuries, or is this meaning we're going to see more? What do you guys take on that?
I'm taking the over.
Me too. I think we're going to see a fucking shitload of injuries this year.
See, I besides like the COVID list, I feel like we're going to have less of those soft tissue injuries. Because I feel like instead of doing light practices before your preseason game, people are doing more 11-on-11, full contact pads, doing more conditioning. I think you're going to see a healthier bunch come out and see less of those type of injuries. Although, if you look at, Gerald McCoy, who just was sitting in a fucking drill and just fell over and tore his ACL.
Or so how much 11-on-11 full contact, full pad time are all the starters getting though?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I heard talks of Ben wanting to test himself and asking the defense to hit him a little, and they won't do it because he's 38.
Hit him. Fucking hit him.
Yeah, as soon as somebody's like, you know what, I'll give you a little pop, he falls over and he's broken. He's like, oh, God. That's what he's waiting for. He's waiting for one of the rookies to take a shot at him, but he's literally going to flop like LeBron and make him feel like shit and then pop up and be like, yeah, I'm good. All right, let's go.
That's exactly what he should do. I'm sure he has that plan.
And that's another one I will talk about briefly, and I don't want to talk about the Steelers the whole time. But Ben is coming back from a pretty significant fucking injury. And there's talk at camp where he's saying this is some of the first time he's thrown in maybe the last 8, 9, 10 years where he hasn't had pain. And he talked about it wasn't that he couldn't make the throws. It was that when he would throw, he'd have pain and he'd have to deal with that pain. He said he's thrown off because he's waiting for that pain to come and it's not coming. Like, this is the first time he's felt like without that pain. So I know, Jace, you're a hater on Ben, but do you think that he can actually have a season like he had in 18 where he threw for 5,000 yards?
Well, strictly on the fact that everybody that I hate tends to flourish, he probably will. I hate him, but you can't deny what the man does. He's produced year in and year out, and I hadn't read that, but if he's had pain for that long, and then he finally had that elbow injury, it's obviously been coming for a long, long time. And once he figures it out, maybe you may see a real resurgence. I mean, he was throwing for 4,000 yards or whatever.
5,000 yards.
Yeah, he led the league in 18.
I mean, that was obviously with AB, but he's going to have to develop his timing and get used to some new weapons and stuff like that. But I really fucking hate to say it, but if the man's not throwing any pain, if they can keep him clean.
Yeah. That's going to be key, too, because we lost Ramon Foster this year. So there's going to be some shakeup on the right tackle and left guard. So it's all going to matter.
Jace, I am not meaning to talk about the fucking Steelers too much, but I heard on the fan the other day that Chuck Okorafor and
Banner.
I forget who the other one. Yeah, Banner. They're fighting for that position, and Chuck Okorafor has the worst fucking what's the word? Like, he's so unethical about the way he does everything, and they're like disgusted by it, but he still gets the job done. Like, they don't know, like, he's so like far away from the norm for being a tackle and shit. And I just thought that was funny, and I should bring that up. But
what you're saying is you're going to give the right tackle job to a guy who gets a bunch of holding calls, probably. Cool. Sounds good.
It's kind of what it sounds like you said.
Yeah, he's just he's non-traditional, I guess you would say.
There you go. That's a better word for it.
I'm glad we went to non-traditional. I believe you call this. What does he do at right tackle that would make him unethical?
Yeah, like I was thinking, like,
literally,
is he punching people in the dick when he's going to block them? Like,
does he have like Wolverine claws? Does he literally every time he goes to block somebody?
He's giving him bad tax advice? Like
what is unethical? Like,
I had a Jesse Baden moment. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Shit.
Like, they outlaw everything that's unethical in football and war in the Geneva Convention. Look it up.
That's right. That's right. It's real facts. Well, let's take a peek over at the training camp. Who are some of your guys' top performers that you're seeing? A lot of talk about these guys in training camp. Maybe people on bubbles. Maybe people that were acquisitions this year. Maybe a rookie. What are you seeing out there? Who you're kind of impressed with?
Well, real quick, as far as bubbles, we haven't talked about the Raiders yet. Tyrell Williams is dealing with a torn labrum in his shoulder. He's played with it twice in his career. He played once with it in San Diego, and I believe went to Western Oregon or some bullshit like that. But they're saying if he for some reason gets shut down for the year and they can't go, I'm just stabbing myself in the eyes for saying this, but there are reports that the Raiders want to bring in Des Bryant for a workout if Williams can't go. I think I would rather die. But
Ted Ginn's out there.
I've said as a million.
Well, they got Ruggs,
I
which
will
is
say
just
on
like
the bright side,
a young version of him.
The Raiders have a habit of taking old, thrown away, forgotten about players.
I mean, look what they did with Crabtree.
Yeah.
Crabtree did it. I mean, you go as far back as like Jim Plunkett and Rich Gannon. We've seen it time and time again where they get.
There was
Jerry Rice back in the day.
What was that? There was a point in time when you guys were going to the Super Bowl and like the average age on your team was like 35 and a half or something.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they were all
You had Rod
Rich
Woodson
Gannon.
and
That's
Rich
Rich
Gannon.
Yeah, they were all just old as shit. Just it was once again, it was the John Gruden team where he's just bringing in people left and right. And it's the same thing.
Warren Sapp.
If Dez wants to stick to the program, I'm not going to say. I'm really hesitant to say, but I think Carr has finally had enough of everybody talking shit, and I think he's going to come out and have a good year. And it wouldn't really surprise me. I would laugh my ass off if I go back and listen to this. And for some reason, we end up with a Dez, and he ends up like being. I'm not going to do anything ridiculous, but we'll say like top 15 in the NFL in receiving, and just
If he could get 60 receptions
if he at
and
least
800 yards,
impact, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like can make some plays when we need him, things like that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I did see it. I mean, if he did, the Chad Ochocinco type of shit or the TO type of shit where he's constantly working out and ready, just waiting for a team to want him, I think that's what's going to happen to him is the same stuff that happened to both those guys where they sat out a year or two and worked out and then just no team could muster up to get him on their team. So
basically, yeah. Other than that, as far as Kevin White, good for him getting another shot.
Yeah, I feel bad for that guy. Everybody from that West Virginia team just feel bad.
Yeah, no bueno.
No. Who's their quarterback?
Will Greer.
Not that West Virginia. Not for
that was
Kevin
Gino,
White.
Wasn't it?
I don't feel like Gino wasn't. Gino was before Kevin White.
Because it was Tavon Austin and Kevin White.
Steve Slayton and fucking who's that other guy that got knocked out? He played for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I can't remember who the quarterback was too because
he
got drafted.
Yeah, the dude that played for Dolphins got fucking massacred. I can't think of it.
Yeah. God
Steve
damn.
Slayton was the running back. It was fucking.
He was a tiny dude, and the Steelers had him for a little while.
Pat,
you're on the right track.
I want to say it's Pat something.
God damn it.
White.
I'm looking it up.
Pat White?
No, I gotta look it up.
Pat White was way before. We don't have time for random West
No, we don't.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's gonna fucking bother me though. I got the iPad. Keep going. I'll look it up.
I'm looking.
All right.
Up.
So who is your kind of training camp performance you're liking to see there, Andy?
Jalen Reagor, actually, Carson Wentz has been speaking very highly of him and how explosive he's been.
Something expected to get a lot of starting time this year, or at least contribute?
He's going to be a contributor. Skylar Howard, Kevin White, no. But anyhow, he's apparently been blowing minds and burning corners and beating zones and shit, and he looks like he's been in the NFL for years. So I thought that was. I didn't like Jalen Reagor coming out of the draft, to be completely honest.
No.
But if he's doing well, then good for him.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprising good camp story. The thing that sucks, though, is picking rookies right now is kind of hard because they're not going to get any.
Paul Millard.
They're not getting a normal offseason. So it's kind of hard to think about, like, I don't know, what they're going to be able to accomplish come season time. Because preseason's like their time to shine. And they don't get any of that. They just get thrown into the mix. I don't think you're going to see a lot of starters or a lot of rookies starting in week one. I think it's going to be one of those years where they're going to trickle in, you know, mid to late season, or after the first quarter of the season, maybe, because there's just not a good way for them to get experience.
Yeah.
Well, I got a couple people I wanted to talk about. One big one was Clyde Edwards. I'm going to say it wrong. Hilaire.
Hell, that's
Hillier.
yeah.
Um,
Like,
because of Williams opting out in the season, he has a good chance to be a starter this year. They have been talking pretty highly of him at camp. Obviously, there's a lot of people competing in that room right now. But I think if he can get on the field early in the season and contribute quickly, you could see him by mid to late season starting. They need a strong running back over there because Williams last year kind of was up and down, up and down, up and down, and then near the end of the season blew up. Obviously, it was like the Super Bowl hero for a little while there. So that's definitely one that I'm thinking of. Another big one is Cam Newton. Cam Newton had signed late. Everybody kind of expected him to be the starter. He gets in there. They're all splitting time evenly between Hoyer, Stidham, and Cam Newton. Then Hoyer and Stidham have some minor injuries. Cam Newton gets a lot of playing time. Everybody's talking about his athleticism right now, how he's looking like he's back to his top form. He's making plays. He's becoming a leader. Except for Cam Newton. He's kind of the only one that doesn't really believe in this. He talked about, I'm not the starter. I don't feel like I'm the starter. I have to work every day, just like everybody else. Now, it seems to me like that is the Patriot Belichick talk going in, saying you will, because normal Cam Newton was loud and crazy over at the Panthers, but over here he's being very modest and, oh, no, I have to work every day. So I don't know if I want to believe him. He's kind of saying what exactly he's supposed to say. But he's definitely performing really well and looks like he will be the week 1 starter.
Patriot way.
Yep. Did
Also,
you find any info?
I went through West Virginia's entire depth chart from Kevin White's career. I didn't recognize a single fucking quarterback.
Skylar Howard.
Skylar Howard didn't throw a ball to Kevin White.
Yes, he did.
No, he fucking didn't.
Then maybe it's the
2014, yes, he did.
Tavon Austin year.
Well, I looked up.
That
I
I'm
didn't
thinking.
realize. God damn it! I feel old. I didn't realize that Kevin White was. I think he was drafted in either 2013 or 2014.
He was drafted in 2015.
2015, yeah.
Wow, really?
Old fucker.
Yeah. Ugh. Jesus. That's ugh.
Not feeling so good now,
Yeah,
are we?
ugh. That's dirty. Makes me feel dirty. Anyway, so I think the last one I want to talk about, and you can go ahead and hit the bias button on this one, Jace, because I'm going to talk about it anyway. One, Chase Claypool was so fucking excited when the Steelers drafted him because we talked about how he was, my Calvin Johnson-esque type of player. And he's going into training camp for the Steelers right now and lighting people up. They're loving what he's doing. Him and Ben are getting good rapport. Joe Hayden said he is already going to be a problem. And I believe it was either Joe or no, it may have been Minka that said it. One of them said it. If we had to play him, we would find a way to double him. So a lot of talk, obviously. It's all talk right now. But I like what I hear about him and how he's performing well. So, and It was the Tavon Austin draft I was thinking of because Geno Smith was the quarterback. That's what I was thinking of.
Yes.
So, but yeah. So that's probably my picks for my training camp guys. Do you have any others? No. So it's going to be hard because normally in the preseason, that's when you find out some no-name players you weren't thinking of, and that's the people you draft in the fantasy football league in round 12, that sneak in. And
that's what's going to be fun. It's just going to be random rookies and guys.
It's going to be a shit show.
It's going to be a lot of waiver wire
everything.
grabs.
2020 has been a shit show. Let's just finish it out a shit show. And
absolutely. Next week, we are 100% going to talk about some fantasy football stuff and then do some week 1 previewing. Very exciting. And then obviously continue our coverage of like NBA and NHL and the PGA. It's very odd. We went through 3 months of not having anything to talk about to now 2 months of having so much fucking shit to talk about. All of the things. So let's move on to the NBA playoffs. So I believe that round 1's already done. A lot of teams have. Come on now. What are you doing?
No, I'll go through it real quick. I got the bracket pulled up. Lakers are up 3-1 on Portland. Rockets and Thunder are tied 2-2. Utah's up 3-2 on the Nuggets. And the Clips are up 3-2 on the Mavericks. Then we go to the East. The East it's weird because nobody's really settled in the West. Well, there was a couple sweeps in the East. Boston swept Philly first round. You got Philly and Toronto because Toronto swept the Nets. Then Miami swept the Pacers, and the Bucks are up 3-1 on the Orlando Magic right now. So you already have Boston and Toronto in the Eastern semifinals right now, and Miami is basically waiting on the winner of Milwaukee and Orlando, and it looks like it's going to be, unless a huge upset in Milwaukee.
The Greek Freak.
Yeah. So the Mavs and Clippers is definitely one I want to talk about because there's a lot of people joking about how Kawhi never should have fucking left Toronto and tried to start his own thing over in LA. And a lot of people talking about Luka and how amazing he's been in this playoffs so far. I heard, and I don't know.
Luka is Dirk on steroids.
Yeah.
To the max.
Shorter Dirk.
Like I grew up in that era. I hated Dirk, but going back, I love Dirk. I respect his game.
You hated Dirk Nowitzki? I fucking loved him.
I was a fucking Laker fan. I am a Laker fan, asshole.
He was a Laker fan.
No, I still am. But anyhow, yeah, like Dirk was good, but Dirk did not have the skill set. Luka is good enough. It's like, when was the last time you even heard Kristaps Porzingis mentioned? Like, remember?
He hasn't even played a few times. They're like, his knee's hurting. We're not going to play him. Like, it's not even really an injury. It's kind of like coach's decision that he's not going to play.
We just don't need him today.
He was like the next big thing in New York when he was playing for the Knicks. They traded him, thought it was going to be this big thing, and it's really like, nope, just throw Luke out on the floor and he'll make it happen.
He'll take care
of it. Porzingis
He's
is kind of like the poor man's Dirk. He's 7 foot tall and can drain threes.
Porzingis was so good with the Knicks, and I just feel like he was good because he played for the Knicks.
He was the only thing on the Knicks.
He was the only thing to look at. Yeah, but anyhow, Luke is insane. Like I said, absolutely phenomenal talent.
Well, the Game 4 overtime shot is what a lot of people were talking about with him. And then the Clippers came back and just destroyed the Mavericks.
Well, I love that Rob Perez, Worldwide Wob on Twitter, he broke it down the way they drew that play up was perfect, because what they did was, because normally on that play you would have either Paul George or Kawhi Leonard on Luka.
And they pulled him off.
Did it was, well, they set enough screens off of the ball, and I forget who it was. The one big guy. I feel like Maxi Kleba or somebody like that. I don't know if he plays for the Mavs or whoever, but basically he set a screen and he had Kawhi. And instead of basically letting him go, he basically kept his hands up and pushed him to the paint so he couldn't come over and help on Luka. So I believe Luka was one-on-one on Reggie Jackson, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
And that's a huge,
Reggie was out of position.
huge fucking mismatch. But they basically, it was very smart how they dialed it up. They took out, and I wish I had a whiteboard. I'd sit here and do it real quick. But they basically took out the Clippers' two best defenders, kept them in no man's land, and isolated Luka, who is 6'9", 6'10", something like that,
Put him one-on-one with
Reggie
a chump.
Jackson, who maybe goes like 6'4", 6'5", and is a skinny guy.
And
he
Reggie
could've
was
taken
out
him
of
to the
position due to all of those
Yeah.
screens too.
He
So
did get
he
a
had to
hand up.
run.
And that's it's not his. It's nothing. No slander to Reggie Jackson, but that is the matchup you want if you're Luka. And the fact that a big man, he could have literally pushed him went to the foul line, shoved him clear to the fucking paint, not gotten a foul, pulled up for the jumper and tied it. But he decided to go for the fucking win and fucking take a crossover and step back in that man's face and hit it. That was one of the best closing shots I've seen in a long time.
That is literally.
It was clutch, but just the smoothness and just knowing how big the dude was that hit it, it was like, God damn! Like, how do you
Lucas
make all that
6'7"
move like that?
And he just stared into his eyes like he fucked his wife. You know what I mean? He just stared at him.
That's what I love. He's this dude, like, he's from, like, middle of Europe, or Spain, or, God damn it, I can't remember where he's from, but
He is
obviously
from.
European. He comes over here and he'll just, like, get up in your face and talk shit, and I'm just like,
Yep. That's what we need.
good for you.
Slovenia.
Yeah, he's from Slovenia.
But no,
I just said Eastern Bloc and covered my ass. But
yeah, Eastern, yeah, the block. But
what, 18
I just want to be known that I hate Paul George.
Really?
Talk shit on Dame, dude. Don't do that.
I love that he gave himself playoff P and he hasn't done shit since then. And then Charles Barkley got on NBA on TNT and he was like, you can't. He gave himself playoff P and he hasn't done anything. He's like, that'd be calling me championship Chuck. I was like, oh.
Self burn.
The self ownership that hurts. He got close.
Well, right now the Clippers do lead the Mavericks 3-2 after a blowout victory in Game 5, 154 to 111. What do you think are the chances that the Mavericks can come out and close the last two and win it?
I don't like their chances if I'm honest.
If they tie it up, they win it. I'm gonna say that. What the fuck up?
Yeah, honestly, I'll give Andy that. If depending on, I unfortunately haven't had enough time to pay attention to the NBA, and that it hasn't. Have you noticed it hasn't been on TV? Like it's
it hasn't shown as well. Like it hasn't been broadcasted as well. I agree.
I gotta haggle DirecTV for my Sunday ticket every year. That's how poor I am. So I can't watch every fucking NBA game.
You gotta twist their arm. Tell them you're gonna cancel. I'm done with your ass. Give me Sunday ticket.
Yeah, I don't want to be with you anymore. Like my ex-girlfriend. But no, if Dallas comes back and ties it up, I feel like they have a chance, obviously, to win it because Luka can go off at any fucking time.
Yep.
But
and that's where he's gonna flourish. It's gonna be the Luka show.
If it goes to Game 7, I'll give it to the Mavericks. But obviously,
yep. And the games today were postponed. I believe the Nuggets and Jazz were going to play today. The Mavs and the Clippers are going to play today.
A really good series for being a Nuggets Jazz series.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to that on the fan this morning. Because apparently every game's been like a nail biter, and it's been real physical and good basketball to watch.
Well, okay, quick glance right now. What the teams are left. Don't take into account like what the records are, I guess, right now. But quick glance. Who do you see in the championship? Don't all go at once.
Lakers, obviously.
Yes.
I'm gonna take one in the hole. Y'all might call me crazy, but I might go throw a futures bet on this. I am going to take the Miami Heat to be in the NBA Finals.
Ooh.
I was gonna say that too, but now I can't. So
They remind
Interesting.
me. I believe it was God. My brain is getting bad. I think it was. I forget what team it was in the NFL. I think it was the '72 Dolphins that had the no-name defense or something like that. Like they were all, like they were number one in everything, but you couldn't name a fucking guy who played for them. That's other than Jimmy Butler. That's kind of the Miami Heat. Like they've
Yeah.
got
Goran
But they have
Dragic,
Iguodala, don't they?
What's that?
They have Iguodala, don't they?
Yeah, they've got
Iguodala,
Iggy. I mean, you can name him, but other than that, like
Goran
Tyler
Dragic,
Harrow.
Tyler
Yeah,
Harrow.
there's a couple of guys, but
Yeah.
they're kind of like that afterthought. Like everybody's like, they ain't gonna do much. And I'll tell you what, I see if the Bucks, obviously the Bucks, I think it's gonna be Bucks and Heat. I think I may look really stupid saying this. He's obviously not going to shut him down, but I think if they put Adebayo on Giannis, I think that restricts.
Slow.
What's that?
Slow
Yeah,
him down,
slow him
not
down.
shut him down.
That restricts their offense, and that means Chris Middleton or somebody else has to step up and do something big. And I don't know if the Bucks really. They've got a really deep roster, and they've got some good players. I don't know if they can withstand losing.
Huh?
That's obviously you're taking the best
Yeah.
player on their team out of the fucking equation completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, my pick is either the Raptors or the Heat, but I think the Heat. I think they have, like I said, enough players and enough depth. I think they can do it.
Jace, fuck you, but I'm going with you. I like it.
I'm honestly going to say Raptors are going to
Crazy
repeat.
son of
I
a
think the
bitch, I'm
Raptors are the only dudes that can probably take down the Bucks.
I mean, Siakam on Giannis would
That's
be.
exactly what I'm thinking is Siakam on Giannis, and that's going to be one of the best matchups of that playoff series if that comes to it. And I think the
You're taking
Raptors can
Raptors
repeat.
over Bucks.
Yeah, I think it's.
For the
I
East.
hate to be the favorites guy, but I think it's going to be Lakers and Raptors.
Well, I
I'm gonna
mean, that's okay. At least, I mean, nobody's taking. It'd be better than. I mean, obviously,
Lakers Bucks.
Lakers
Yeah.
Bucks would be pretty fucking entertaining, but
Yeah,
I
well,
just don't. In the West, I don't see. Unless the Clippers somehow sneak out, but I could see Utah or Denver giving either one of them a problem. Well, Utah not so much, but I think Denver would give the Clippers some issues.
Rockets scare me because of that small ball bullshit they do. Like, if they had some more size, I'd feel better about them, but they don't, so I don't.
Well, that's in the next round. If they win, they got to run in. You're going to play LeBron and Anthony Davis with your small ball lineup.
Yeah.
I could play center and probably get like 4 points and 2 boards.
Yeah. Not good. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at there. I could see you doing that little sneaky Miami Heat. I like that pick actually. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. I think they're planning on resuming. I don't think it's tomorrow. It may be Saturday that they plan on resume. I'm not 100% on that.
I thought it was tomorrow.
It may be tomorrow then.
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% on what day.
I feel like they were taking today off and then they were going to resume.
Yeah, because they boycotted and didn't play last night and didn't play today.
They just canceled the games today. They postponed the games today.
Yeah. So, but hopefully we'll see that start back up here soon and then get rocking and rolling. So let's move over to the NHL. We're into the second round, almost down to the final four. We're in our Elite Eight of the bracket over there. A lot of teams that I honestly would not expect in. That some big name teams are gonzo. Penguins, Capitals, they're all out. Penguins didn't even make it into the 16. Montreal lost to Philly. Philly is still in it. That's what scares me the most.
Yeah.
The fucking Islanders beat the Capitals. And Boston won, and then Tuukka Rask decided to opt out for the rest of the season, so they're going with Jaroslav Halak against Tampa Bay, who's one of the higher scoring teams in the league. And also, can I just take a moment and say, can you believe that the Flyers were number one in the Eastern?
I hate to say it, but I think Carter Hart is, as Penguin fans, our new Martin Brodeur. I think we're gonna, much like they all hated seeing Fleury for years, we're gonna hate seeing his ass.
Yeah.
I hate to. Once again, it's like giving respect to the Steelers as much as I hate the fucking Flyers. Carter Hart's the real deal. He's fucking good.
Yeah. The biggest problem with the Pens right now is they fucking put their money in Matt Murray, and now Matt Murray sucks dick for pennies. So
less than pennies, like
wooden
Japanese
nickels.
yen.
What nickels? No, they suck dick for bus money and then walk.
Everybody was like, "Well, we'll take youth. You know, we'll get rid of Fleury." And Fleury's in the fucking semi or in the
number one team in the West. Fucking Vegas Knights are
him and Robin Leonard are fucking killing it.
It's just it makes me sad.
Leonard had a rough night the other night.
Makes me happy. Good for him.
I
miss him.
I wish
I do miss him too, but
I want him to come home.
I just want him to. I want him back. I hate the fact. Like, I understood the decision at the time, and on paper it looked like the right decision. Fleury had trouble in the playoffs for so many years. Matt Murray came in. We won 2 cups under him. Only rookie goaltender to have 2 cups, which is weird stat that he was a rookie and has 2 championships. Because technically he didn't start enough during the season to be considered his first full season, then come in the playoffs and win it because of injury. And then the following season was technically his rookie season. Then he went and won it. So it's like...
so we'll be getting rid of him next year.
I'll tell you right now what happened with Murray, and I appreciate everything, obviously. You have to appreciate what he did.
Oh, yeah.
But as soon as he broke his fucking glove hand, and he started letting in those goals where he literally, it's almost like, I don't know what happened. He can't like trap the puck anymore. Like he can't close his hand. And as soon as he started letting in those goals where it would literally be like here and be like, oh, a routine, and he would drop it and somebody fucking tap it in on him. The rest of it is fucking like everything's just been in shambles because I feel like the dude's just like, he has no confidence.
It's sad that his weak spot is 99% of goalie's strong spot. His glove hand. Yeah. That is where you normally want to avoid shooting because that's where you're going to get stopped the most. You want to go high stick most of the time. But no, as soon as they figured out his glove hand is horrible, top shelf, glove side, all day.
And like I said, it wasn't like that until that, I forget when exactly it happened, but that injury, but he broke... forget if he's left or right-handed, but he broke his glove hand, and ever since then, it's almost been like, it's literally like a fucking minor leaguer trying to catch a pot fly in the sun. Like, you just don't know. You got a 50-50 chance of it staying in the glove or it's going to pop out.
Yep.
You really have no idea. And the guy, I feel bad. It's just like he just doesn't. He had that swagger when he was younger. Like, when he was a rookie, he was stepping into straight into.
He had like one of those playoff runs, he had like 4 shutouts or something like that. It was insane.
Oh, he was absolutely lights out. We were all, as Pens fans, shitting our pants because we were like, Jesus Christ, this kid's untested.
We have a fucking goalie.
We were literally, I think they renamed a street in Pittsburgh after him already. Like, I think that was a thing.
Yeah.
I forget. It was
Did a lot of beautiful things here. Did a lot of beautiful things here.
We love our hockey, but that was good enough for us to rename a street after you. Now it's just like we don't even know if we want you in town anymore. It's like
it's sad. I kind of hope that
he'll come back here, Coach.
Blow up this team a little bit, and do some heavy move. I love how they was it Kapanen. We traded him after we drafted him. Didn't even get to play for us, and then now we just traded for him back because he's actually good. We'll try to get him back.
Hope you kept that jersey from draft night, kid.
Yeah, right. So there's enough Penguin talk. Let's get to the bracket here. The Vegas Knights obviously moved on against Vancouver Canucks, who took down the reigning champs in the St. Louis Blues. So that was a pretty crazy upset. So they're playing tied 1-1 against the Knights right now. The Avalanche, who came out of nowhere, this one of those teams, and that's why I love the NHL so much, because 1 year can change so fucking drastically for a team. They could be in the bottom, and then the following year be the number one. I love it. But Avalanche came up. They were number 2 seed, and they are playing the Dallas Stars right now. The Stars do lead that series 2-1 right now. Obviously, Philadelphia becoming number 1 seed in the East, which just makes my fucking bowels shiver.
Well, if they're the number 1 seed, we know they won't win anything.
That's right.
So everybody listening to this, go mortgage your house and bet on them to win the Stanley Cup. Because
then the Islanders, who beat the Capitals 4-1, I think were 2 years ago reigning champ. They got slaughtered by the Islanders. So the Islanders and Philly are playing right now. They're tied 1-1. Tampa Bay, who always seems to be in it for such a long time and just doesn't seem to ever get over that
Shits
goddamn
her pants
hump.
right at the end.
Yeah, can't get over the hump. They are leading the series against the Bruins right now, who beat the Hurricanes, which I wanted the Hurricanes to win. The Hurricanes were having such a great season, and I loved everything about them, and I love their fan base, and it was sad to see them get beat by Boston like they did. I really, really, really liked that team.
I want to punch Brad Marchand in the nose
Can hate Brad Marchand
badly. He gets the greasiest, grimiest, and I mean, you got to appreciate it. I keep saying this. I fucking hate him, but from a strategic standpoint, you look at him. He's just one of those players that's gritty. He's always in the right place. He does the correct things.
Forever.
But God damn it, he always gets like the deflections and the banks, and then they show his face.
Yeah, and it just makes you angry.
Like, show his dumb face. That nose. I want to break that nose so bad.
That's worse than Jesse's nose.
It is.
Times, Jesse, like, he's got a beak compared to you. Like, that thing is so bad.
Something about his face wants to make me want to deliver one of these to his suckhole.
The fact that his nose and Zdeno Chara's nose are out on the fucking ice together at the same time. Just,
you have to follow.
He literally, you subtract his nose, he's like Stuart Little on the ice. I literally want to just beat the shit out of him. I hate Brad Marchand. I
do too. I'm so glad you said that, because he's just one of my least favorite fucking players.
Oh, I can't stand him. He is such a fucking prick. He can fucking. Oh God. I could say so many bad things about him. Fuck Brad.
He does. He has a shitty little mustache too. I don't like his shitty mustache.
Who is the one? Oh man, I can't think of his name now.
He's got low testosterone. He's got small.
Low T. He got low T.
There was one player for Philly. I think is the only player I hated more. And now I can't even think of his fucking name. It was years ago, and he was just like an asshole and had the long hair. I feel. I can't remember the goddamn name for Philly. And it's gonna bother me, but he was probably my least favorite player, and now I can't think of his name, and I'm actually kind of happy about that because his image has been put out of my mind for so long.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
So I'm actually okay with that.
I feel like I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of it either.
I can't fucking
Is it the dude that was missing all the goddamn teeth?
Yeah, yeah.
Started with a C.
Mm-hmm.
Carcelo.
No.
Well, I hated him. He was a fucking prick. He's still
Brad?
a prick. Fuck him.
I want to say it was like something Hall or something like that. Anyway, so who do you guys kind of see right now taking this one? It's kind of weird because it's not one of those things where it's easy to judge this year. Scott Hartnell. That's it. Scott Hartnell. Fuck, I hated that guy.
I was going to say, I couldn't remember. I
said started with a C, and you were like, yeah. Like, I didn't.
No, I said no. Yeah, no. Yeah, Hartnell. Hartnell.
Big fuck. He's a big fucking.
He was such a prick.
I fucking hated Scott Hartnell.
He's mean.
Anyway, so who do you see being the strong favorite right now? I honestly would love to see a Vegas, Tampa Bay Stanley Cup, because in that cup, I'd be rooting for either team. I want one of you guys to win it because you both deserve it.
I got another bold one. You ready?
I got
All
a
right.
bold too. Let me do mine first this time.
No, I'm going to do mine because I hope it's the same. You ready? I'm going Golden Knights, New York Islanders.
Okay, not the same.
That's kind of what I thought you were going to say. Is the Islanders? I would like to see the Islanders there too. I always feel bad for them. They feel like
That's
the
not one of
Mets.
those things where I am being biased and I hate the Flyers, but I just don't think the Flyers defense isn't that spectacular, and
No.
Carter Hart's going to get fucking tired at some point.
Yeah, carrying everybody.
All the great ones do.
All right, Andy, what's yours?
Okay, I got a flyer too. I'm going to take the Boston Bruins,
Ooh,
Brad Marchand, and
a lock.
probably and Vegas, or it's in between Vegas and Dallas. Dallas is kind of a.
I kind of would like
dog here
Dallas
too,
because, excuse me, I feel like it was a few years ago they put together that team, and it was just like so much hype went around that team, and then it just kind of stopped. Like it fell off for a little while.
Yeah.
So I would like to see them do well because there were a lot of players on that roster I liked, and like in my fantasy, like Jamie Benn, I loved. Who's fuck? Get that face out of there, Tyler
Just his
Sagan.
eyebrows.
I'm going to punch my phone if you don't stop that. See, I'm on the exact opposite. I want the Avalanche to win that series. I don't think they have enough talent to win the whole thing, but
That was another team I was looking at too.
Nathan McKinnon has been one of the top talents in the league, and because he doesn't play in a big market and the NHL doesn't get a lot of coverage, he really doesn't get talked about a lot. But he's a McDavid, Crosby type talent. He just hasn't had any hardly fucking help his entire career.
Yeah.
And they're finally getting hot. So I hope they beat the Stars. I don't know
Well,
if they will. And if they beat the Stars, I don't think they go any further than the Eastern Conference Finals. But
I can
at
see
least
it.
Nate Mack's going somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to the PGA time. What has been going on recently for the PGA Tour?
Well, it
Good,
is
Jason.
officially FedEx Cup time. I believe we didn't. I don't know if we covered the Wyndham or not. I don't know if we were on air or not, but at least we got a cover last week, which was the Northern Trust. Which, if you didn't watch it, you didn't miss anything because Dustin Johnson dismantled the fucking course. Dustin Johnson did to that golf course what you would do if you go to 2K PGA Tour 2K21. Go to TPC Boston in real life, play from the women's tees and play everything in regular difficulty or easy, and you might make 30 under par. He made it look that silly and that simple. Really nothing to talk about. I mean,
No, not about that one.
other than guys
Kisner did all right. Kisner did pretty good.
yeah, I mean, I love because Kisner and DJ grew up around each other in South Carolina. They actually played together in juniors and stuff like that. And something Kiz said, because a lot of these guys are like, "Oh, I can beat anybody if I'm on this and that." He's just brutally honest. He came out and he's like, "Yeah, he's pretty much unstoppable when he's like when he's hitting the ball like that and he's putting that well. He's like, I pretty much just step aside and try to pad my bank account. He's like, I'm just try to play your game and just let him go win the fucking thing, and you just take your money and go home." But yeah, he's currently in first in FedEx Cup points. We're moving on to the BMW at Olympia Fields in Chicago, outside of Chicago. It's a suburb. I forget where exactly it's at. It's hosted. I think it hosted a U.S. Open in like 2003. It's had a couple
2002, I believe.
women's events and Ryder Cups and things like that, but it's always historically played tough. They're like, oh, the 30 under par. Everybody loves birdies. The FedEx Cup and the PGA no, it's good for viewership and this and that, and they're going to make this course really easy this week too. No, Hideki Matsuyama came out of nowhere, and the leading score right now is 3 under par. Rory McIlroy came out, who is currently at even right now, came out and said that the greens were fast enough that they played like Saturday at a U.S. Open. And if you know anything about golf, the USGA constantly fucks everything up.
Yep.
And the greens are always way too fast at U.S. Open. So they were playing stupid quick. So if you were like this course, it punishes you. If you're a little bit out of position off the fairway or, green side, if you're in a bunker or in a tough spot, you've got a pin in front of you or this and that, you can pretty much expect a bogey or a big number because it's going to get fucking ugly. Like there were guys, I think Xander Schauffele had a double on 16 coming in. He was like at even or like 1 over or something like that and started falling apart. Like this golf course is going to dismantle some people, but let's go through the leaderboard real quick. Matsuyama 3 under, Duncan 2 under, Tyler Duncan 2 under, Mackenzie Hughes 1 under. And then you have a log jam at even. You have Abraham Ancer, Rory McIlroy, Mark Hubbard, Carlos Ortiz, Matt Fitzpatrick, Sebastian Munoz, Lanto Griffin, Billy Horschel, who Andy bet on, so forget about him, Tony Finau, and Harry Higgs.
He probably wanted to show up tomorrow.
Those are all got, like, you in this course, everybody in the top 10, like, you got a lot of guys that their game rides on one thing being really good. Like, for instance, if Matt Fitzpatrick and Matsuyama aren't rolling putts in, they ain't doing shit. If Tyler Duncan and Harry Higgs and these guys, if their short games aren't working, they're not putting scores up. Or if the guys can't hit off the tee, so on and so forth. You have a lot of niche players that started out pretty low on the FedEx Cup points, but they're now to the point where they're playing and they're just playing well enough and they're doing the little things that they do well enough that they're up.
Matsuyama's hitting his irons again. That's
right now the way it sits because DJ's struggling. You have Lanto Griffin and Sebastian Munoz will be tied for the lead for the FedEx Cup. Tell me you have heard of either of those two names before this.
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse.
No.
Lanto won the Houston Open, and what did Munoz win?
He won something fucking stupid.
Oh, God, I can see it. It's one of those ones where they give him the plaid jacket.
Yeah.
It's literally the one where they hand him literally the giant rooster, and everybody makes the fucking big cock jokes. It's they played it in Mississippi. I can't think of the fucking tournament, but it's literally like it's one of the tournaments they play when like football's on in the fall and nobody realizes they're still playing golf because none of the big boys are playing. He won one of those, and so did Lanto and Lanto. God damn it, I keep mispronouncing his name. And these are two guys that have played well enough and just stayed around, and they could both win the FedEx Cup, which is, what is it, like $3 million or something like that to the winner? Like, this is, nobody gives a shit. Like, everybody's like, oh, the FedEx Cup, it's prestigious. I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys probably use FedEx Cups as, like, their fucking key holders, like, on their fucking entryways into their houses. They don't give a shit about that fucking trophy. As soon as that check cashes, they've forgotten they even played in this fucking tournament. They're like, fuck it. We got the check. We moved on. Yep. Yeah, everybody's chasing a bag right now. I really don't have too much to say because I haven't paid too much attention other than the course is going to play hard, and I would say the cut line's probably, well, there is no cut line. It's a no-cut event. As long as somebody doesn't blow up, you could see guys from like 2 over, 3 over. Possibly if the course plays hard, you could see guys go in reverse and then guys go the same direction and the other way on the. You might not see this leaderboard get deeper than, I'll say, 12 under par.
Yeah.
And that's being pretty generous.
That's being generous. I think 9 under par wins it.
If they're saying the course is rolling like a U.S. Open,
that's not good.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But I'll give you my dark horse for the weekend. I don't know if he'll win. I mentioned this before. I was going to take a top 5 on him or something like that. But Harry Higgs is coming out. He was 48th, wasn't going to make Eastlake. He is currently now tied for 4th. He's 13th in the top 30, make the Tour Championship at Eastlake Golf Club. So, really, the only big thing to talk about other than that is Tiger is currently projected to. He won't miss the cut, but if he doesn't really pull it together, he's currently 56th in, like I said, top 30. He has to climb about 20-some spots in, you figure, 3 rounds. So, not looking good for him, but he probably wants to go home and just he ain't going to go home. He's going to go straight to Winged Foot and get ready for the U.S. Open with JT.
Yep.
So, JT
Socially distanced.
JT is tied for 35th in this fucking tournament with Tiger, and God forbid he was second coming into this week. Pray for him. He's currently projected to be third in points after this week.
I don't think he gives a shit at this point.
He couldn't give a fuck about this. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he just withdrew. Went full Webb Simpson. Webb Simpson was second in FedEx Cup.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck it. I'll see y'all at the tournament, at the tour finale. The guy ain't even fucking around with us.
Fuck it. I have
Andy?
Yeah. I just want it to be known that this is the first week that golf's been going on in weeks that I haven't bet on Hideki Matsuyama, and he comes out and fucking lights it up, which I figured that would happen.
On a course that historically does not honor bad putters. And
no.
Hideki is
and his iron play has been shit, too. But I don't know. I haven't, like I said, told Jace, I was sick today from work. I came home, went straight to bed, woke up at like 5 o'clock. And I haven't seen a player swing a club to this course yet. So I'm probably going to do a little bit of that research when we're done here and hit the hay and start it all over again tomorrow.
All right. Well, that seems to be the end of anything. Anybody have any final thoughts they want to add in at the end here?
Victor Hovland's going to come back and win because I guess I did see the driver off the deck shot from Victor Hovland. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, his dick was huge.
It doesn't matter because you stick a wedge or a putter in his hand and he's.
Yeah. That's all I got. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably lose money betting on Harry Higgs this weekend. He'll probably be out of it by tomorrow, but hopefully he does that so I don't lose any money. But that, and I've actually been making money betting on overs and unders in the NBA. So
there you go.
Hopefully they start back up tomorrow, and I had a couple of day breaks, so I'll probably just start losing money on that too. Love that.
Well, this is all I want to say. T-minus 14 days to the start of the NFL season.
You almost said NBA.
I almost did. 14 days to the start of the NFL season. Next week, we are going to do some fantasy draft talk. Obviously, any current news that's going to happen in that meantime. Washington football team still doesn't even have a frigging name, so we'll see what happens there. That's still hilarious to me.
Also, the U.S. Open and the opening weekend of football will be happening at the same time.
It will.
So we will literally have U.S. Open Sunday at Winged Foot, the opening day of football. I am gonna have to go change my underwear after that.
I'm taking that Monday off.
I already have that Monday off. I already took it off. Well,
I can't take any days off.
George's getting married Saturday, and then that's all happening Sunday. So yeah,
we're gonna be nursing hangovers then.
Oh,
I'm gonna be dead Monday. Like, you're gonna be planning for my funeral, by the way.
That's awesome. I do want to shout out my wife for buying me this nice Callaway hat too.
That's the only upsetting thing is I gotta wait till Monday the 14th to see the Steelers play. So, but I don't care. I'm gonna watch so much football. All right. So next week we're gonna talk about fantasy. We're gonna talk. Everybody, do your research. We're gonna talk a little bit about some sleepers, some people you expect to be doing well, and we're probably going to be doing our fantasy football draft that Thursday. because over that weekend we will be at camp. So I don't know that we're going to be able to draft over that weekend. So we're going to try to shoot for Thursday draft day in the evening. And then the following week, we will do all of our week one previews, break down every game. It's going to be a long one, but we're going to go through each game individually, talk about who we think is going to perform well, who's going to do well, who's going to win, what's going to happen that week one. And then it's start of the season time. I love it. Season 2 of All the Rage Sports. Thank you all for joining us. Always go to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram. See us on our host site in Transistor. Go to our Webley page, All the Rage Sports at Webley.com. Like us on Facebook. Go to our YouTube. Watch our videos. Leave us a comment. Email us. Do something so we can talk to you and find out what you want to hear from the experts. Thank you so much for joining us today. As for Jace Junk, Andy Stewart, I am Jesse Baden, your host. Always remember, Rage on.
And when you find some sports experts, let us know.
Yeah, please.
Pussy.